Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
New on Curiosity Stream.
I'm James Burke. I'm going to take you on a journey through time.
James Burke's visionary series returns, reimagined for our time.
Now, this is all uncharted territory.
The Washington Post hails Burke as one of the most intriguing minds in the Western world. The New York Times raves he careens from one great moment in history to another.
Where do we want to go from here?
Experience all new connections.
So what's the next connection?
With monthly, annual, and bundled plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
It's the pop culture field, and you will. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast, sitting right at the intersection of weapons, action, the military, and pop culture. I'm Israel Wright, former Green Beret. With me, as always,
Cameron Pfaff, former Army Ranger. It's been a while since we've done that.
We haven't done that in a while. I feel it's feeling classic today.
It is classic. You're going back to our roots, which I appreciate. And what are we talking about on this episode of the PCFM podcast? Izzy?
Folks, we are going to be talking about video games. I love video games. And we're both really lucky. I consider myself very lucky that we are in a profession where we are exposed to and get to play video games, especially military-based video games. And it's safe to say that we've both been influenced to some degree or another by the video games, the military video games that you and I have played, whether growing up or more recently. I was thinking like growing up influenced ideas of the military, ideas of manhood, ideas of wanting to join the military. So in this episode, Cameron and I are both going to give you our top list of our favorite military video game titles. Bravo 6, Going Dark, let's do it.
You know, I'm glad that you went back to our roots in the beginning, because that's kind of what we're doing right now.
We are.
Yeah, we are going straight back to where we started, which was, you know, in the video game world with Gameology. So
that's right.
A little bit of motifs there. I hope I'm using that words correctly. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, bit of a motif. Yeah, similar theme, I guess you could say, similar feel.
I gotcha. Well, yeah, no, I'm excited for this one. Because, let's see, do you mind if I read this fun fact? Because I thought it was very fun.
Yeah, I did a little bit of research last night to kind of like, how many
games have we actually seen? So, fun fact, y'all, through Gameology on YouTube, we have either played or watched footage from Ghost Recon, Breakpoint, Wildlands, Escape from Tarkov, Call of Duty Warzone, 0 Hour, Ground Branch, Ready or Not, Cops though, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, Modern Warfare 2019, Wolfenstein, New Colossus, CSGO, Counter-Strike Go, Team Fortress 2, Squad Arma, Insurgency Sandstorm, Call of Duty, Black Ops, Cold War, Spec Ops The Line, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Battlefield 1, Call of Duty Vanguard, Battlefield 2042, War Thunder, Rainbow Six Siege, and probably more because you got tired, huh?
Yeah. I just had to stop looking because Cameron, there's like 60, 70 videos of you and I out there for Gameology total.
Oh, yeah, don't forget like door kickers too.
Yeah.
And like all these
door kickers. Experts try, experts play. Yeah, total recoil.
Yeah,
ranked, all those kind of stuff.
Yeah. Jeez, man. Yeah, we've seen a lot of military video games. So I think it's safe to say that we have a little bit of insight to provide here. Huh?
Yeah, I'd say our lists are going to be well supported.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, is your list in any specific order, or are they just games that you love?
No particular order. These are all just generally games that I like. I would say that I'll try to say my number one last, but everyone else, like there's a specific reason why they're on the list.
Okay, I got
you. What about you?
It seems like, because I got one. Because I was hoping, because you mentioned a lot of really good games, that list would spring some things in my memory. Because obviously there is one on your list that should be its own category, as you wrote in parentheses, its own category, because there's a lot of games in that one.
Yes.
That's military games specifically that deserve recognition. Do you just want to start on that, or is that your number one?
No, let's
I don't
start
think
with
that's your number one.
Well, it's not number one. It's not the one that has impacted me the most, the one that I've enjoyed the most overall, even though I've enjoyed them immensely. But the Call of Duty franchise as a category, and within that franchise, my favorite experience that I've had with that has been Call of Duty Modern Warfare from 2019, the reboot.
Oh, okay. Oh, the reboot. Interesting. Tell me some more about that.
Well, yeah, it's the reboot of all these characters. They kind of rebooted the series, and then the second one at the time of this recording just came out, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which I played through on my stream, twitch.tv/myhappyself, because I want to check it out. But you and I were exposed to one of the most popular missions from this game, the Clean House mission, where you're in England, there's been a bombing and a terrorist attack, so you go and you find this house, and it's like, sneaking through under nods, trying to be slick, trying to be quiet. And then at the very end, there's this, there's a guy, he's like, don't shoot. And then he turns around, you have to choose whether or not to shoot him. And then you see that he had a detonator next to him. So
so you got to kill him.
We've done it on Gameology. Jason and Patrick have done it. The guys before us, the Marines, they did it.
Current Savage Actual have done it.
That's right, Savage Actual.
It's funny because, if you look at all the Call of Duty games, there are specific missions that are just like have taken the cake, if you will. Clean House is definitely one of them. And then you have like from Modern Warfare, was it Modern Warfare 2 where no Russian?
Oh, that's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 remastered before the reboot. Yeah, because we played through that.
Yeah, before the reboot. Yeah. So it's like the original, not the Modern Warfare reboot, but like Modern Warfare 2, the original.
Yeah.
No Russian. That's an iconic scene that came out of Call of Duty. So like there's like very few ones that are super memorable. And of course, OG, all gillied up from Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare. Like those three missions, I think, are like the most iconic Call of Duty missions that have came out so far. But yeah, I'm gonna throw a question at you. Which one is your favorite out of those three?
Out of those three missions?
Yeah.
That's a good question, man. I would say, well, the only one that I've played through, I've played Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and I ended up playing it on stream. And so I would say my favorite out of those three was probably All Gillied Up, because not that I've played it, but you and I did that for one of our earlier earlier Gameology videos. So that like has a special place in my heart. It's got so much. It's the sneaking level, it's a sniper mission, and then it's an action mission at the end where you got to hold up. It's got everything,
Yeah. I mean, if I had to answer the same question here, I'll answer the question I asked, sure. But if I had to, I'm going to go with Clean House, just because you are right that All Gillied Up has a special place in our hearts. But there's a lot of things about it. Like, obviously, the scene where you're just, like, laying down, you're crawling, and everybody's walking over you, and they don't see you. So there's, like, things like that. Like, this is fun, and, like, sneaking around is fun, but it's super non-realistic. And then No Russian is just brutal. So, if something would be wrong with you if you're like, yeah, that's my favorite one, because I love killing the civilians. It's great. It's a great outlet for aggression. But that one's a very impactful one. But I have to say Clean House, just because it's more of what I've done in my military experience. So I have like that connection in that way. I've done a little bit of running around in ghillie suit, but nothing to that extent. But I have cleared buildings under nods and like used lasers and shit. And that's super cool to me. So that's why I like that. I like that mission out of the three more than the other ones. I
agree. My brain was in another place just then. Sorry.
I know. I was looking at you and I was like, you good, bro?
I'm glad nobody saw that. No, I
Benefits
think that's
of a podcast.
Yeah. Honorable mention from that game, by the way, Modern Warfare 2019, the embassy mission, because it's kind of the ripped from the headlines. It's basically Benghazi, it's you're at the annex away from the embassy and you're getting, sieged upon for 13 hours, or for a long time. It's basically 13 hours from Benghazi. So I appreciate that they put that in there.
Yeah, a little bit of I don't know, that wouldn't be foreshadowing, but a little bit of a recreation there of a very important thing.
Bit of a callback to a historical event, yeah.
Oh yeah, that meant a lot. But yeah, no, Call of Duty definitely. I guess it definitely takes a big part on this list just because there's so many. And I know, at least for me, you said Modern Warfare Remastered was like your favorite out of all of them, huh?
All of them ones that I've played for sure. Yeah.
Man, it's hard for me to choose because like in the influential episode, I talked about COD 4, the original Modern Warfare, the one before the reboot.
Is that
was
advanced?
Huh?
Advanced Warfare? Was that
No, just
I need to play
literally
that.
Call of Duty 4.
Oh, okay.
Like the original Modern Warfare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The original
Before
Modern
the
Warfare.
reboot and before the remaster, because they remaster it to make it like cleaner.
Yeah.
But then they reboot a new game in 2019 called Modern Warfare, but it's not the original. The original was one of my favorites. That's where All Gillied Up came out of.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so that's one of my favorites. But then Modern Warfare 2, the original, there's no remastered Modern Warfare 2, but that is also one of my favorites. Those two combined are like the greatest Call of Duties that have ever been released. Because that's where like quick scoping came out big. That's where the game map Rust first came up.
Nice.
And that's an iconic. Yeah, you have problems back in the day. We'll handle it 1v1 at Rust. Yeah, but I think those two are my favorite. I mean, the original Black Ops was really good. Black Ops 2 is fine. But yeah, the more Call of Duty games we were exposed to and the ones we play, I just keep going back to those two ones. And I'm like, those are literal perfection in the Modern Warfare universe and Call of Duty. Hard contender, though, would be World at War. But that's because it's completely different.
That's where everyone keeps telling me to play World at War because that's where you first meet Reznov, who's in Black Ops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you meet him, and then also that was the first game that had Call of Duty Zombies.
Everybody loves the zombies, man.
Yeah, that's like the original Call of Duty Zombies was World at War.
Nice.
I just like the fact the online was really cool too because you have all these World War II guns that you can like trick out, and like you could roll a bolt action with like iron sights. So I thought, and I was like, that's really dumb. Why would you do that? But like, it's an option, and that's why I loved it because like, man, it's so crazy. You could like have bayonet attachments and use it for melee, like extended melee. But yeah, no, that would probably be like a honorable mention for my list. But yeah, Modern Warfare original, and then Modern Warfare 2 for me.
Nice. What's top in your list, or what's the first one you want to go for?
I'm not gonna say this one because I'll talk about that one last. Funny, okay. Call of Duty was on my list, and I think we paid it a very good homage and explained everything about it. So no more Call of Duty. This one is kind of a short one, but I had to throw it on my list because as a kid I played this so much, and like when I would see it at a local pizza parlor, I'd just beg my father for quarters, and it's gonna be the Metal Slug arcade game.
Oh man, old school! I love it.
That's old school, and it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
It was like there was nothing really technical about it. It was just like you can pick like one of 4 characters. Yeah, and they all got the same weapons. They all got the same. You press red button to shoot, this button to jump, this button to throw grenades, and it's just like, and then you can like go left, right, jump, or crouch, and like you would just get. You just go ham with your buddies. You get the machine gun. You just let that bitch rip because there's unlimited ammunition until. Actually, no, it wasn't. Not for that one. If you got in a tank, then it was unlimited ammunition. But yeah, it was just so much fun as an arcade shooter. And like I don't even know what you were, like a mercenary kind of. Yeah,
it doesn't really even explain like it's like story. A vaguely Nazi kind of like country, but it's super like almost steampunk with the kind of machinery and warfare that you would engage in.
Yeah, so that was like, as a child, that was a really fun game that I was super into. I was never any good at it. Like, if you ask me, did I beat Metal Slug any of the times? Out of how many Metal Slugs are there?
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5. I have, you and I think, 7. Played this on my stream one time. I think I have it on my PS4, I think. And I have the collection that I bought.
Oh, man. Yeah, there's like, Metal Slug 3, 5, 6...
Oh my gosh.
How many games does Metal Slug Anthology have? 7 installments.
7 Metal
There's
Slug
7
games.
Metal
And this
Slugs.
is Neo Geo, originally the Neo Geo system, I think.
Yeah, 15-year-old Neo Geo.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Cartridges.
Yeah.
Massive cartridges.
Classic. Yeah, either massive cartridges or just arcade style. But yeah, it's super entertaining game that has a lot of personal connection to me. I'm glad it's been around because and it's different than what we're typically going to talk about in the first person shooters. But I think it deserves a little bit of recognition just because it is one of the pioneers of like military shooters.
Yeah.
Just not necessarily first person, but
Right.
I figured I'd give it a little bit of love just because it brought me a lot of entertainment and joy as a kid, and honestly to this day. Because if I see it and I have some money, I'm probably going to play it.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. Well, shoot, man. If you ever want to come and visit the stream again, we'll play some Metal Slug because I got the anthology on my PS4.
Oh, you do?
So,
That would be awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Didn't we play it one time?
We did. I think we did when you came over.
We
and
did
visited.
play it one time. Yeah, no, that was so much fun. I actually had a really good job. That was no, I had a really good time. Not a good job, but I did terrible.
You
but
did.
that's 'cause I never
Well,
played.
the good thing about having it on a console is you don't got to waste any money.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, what about you? What's the next one on your list, dude?
Next one on my list, I'd like to talk about. It's so funny. I've had such a saga with this game, Spec Ops: The Line from 2012 by Jaeger Entertainment. You and I. This is like one of our episodes where they showed us gameplay footage and cutscenes, but it was totally out of context, and we had no idea what was going on. Yeah, and then people in the comments just ripped us to shreds. They're like, "Oh, they're not telling them. You guys don't even know what's going on." Like, we got mad when we saw the dudes like burned to death. We're like, "I would just go crazy," and all that kind of. It's like, but that was actually done by the guy that you're after. Like,
the friendly fire. Yeah,
it's
done by friendly fire.
It's done by Americans. Yeah. So
so that was a kind of a nightmare of that video. Probably the worst performing gameology video that we've ever done.
Yep.
It was not like that at all. I totally wish we can go back with the knowledge that we have now, because it would have been so much different. Because I'm there making jokes about like playing catch with your dad. Meanwhile, we're like literally killing, our own forces mid, we're fratriciding. I'm just like, well, we know who played catch as a kid.
Yep. So, but this game it's one of those games where the gameplay is not all that spectacular, but the themes that it explores are really amazing. I don't think there's ever been a video game quite like it before or since, because basically it's an exploration of like guilt, guilt and either facing or not dealing or not dealing with the guilt you feel after you've done something. Because the main character, the story is like, there's it's Dubai, but there's a massive sandstorm, and there was a unit that went in to go to try to fix things, but they ended up just basically, instead of leaving, they just cut themselves off and decided to try to save the people on their own, but it didn't go well.
Yeah, they went like rogue.
Yeah, they went rogue. And so you go to investigate, you're like a Delta Force unit with like 3 dudes. But as things go on, things get stranger and stranger, and you start seeing weird things, you start going crazy, and then there's parts where there's a part where you actually use white phosphorus on the enemy, but then you kill a bunch of civilians. But the whole story of it's actually about the main character. I think Walker is his name. But
Walker.
Basically, like the game starts off with like a helicopter chase, and then you crash. But like if you pay attention to the way the game is, after that moment, it's basically like you're dead. And the rest of the game is you trying to deal with the guilt of Walker's actions, because it's revealed that he, during a mission earlier on, killed a bunch of civilians, but then he never dealt with it. So like really the bad guy in the video game is just a projection of his guilt.
Of himself.
Yeah, he's projecting everything onto him. He's like, he did it, you did it, it's your fault. He's like, no, it's you. We're talking about you. And so, there's hints throughout the entirety of the game that like nothing that you're seeing is actually real. And then by the end of the game, you're just in a hellscape that nothing makes any sense, and everybody dies, and then you're up at the tower at the end of the game confronting who is supposed to be the antagonist of the game, but you end up finding out that it's just yourself. And then you can either choose to kill yourself, which is like the ultimate consequences, like taking responsibility of your actions, or you could choose to kill the other guy, which is basically a representation of Walker's never gonna face up to what he did, and he's gonna continue to live in this like hell of his own making. It's so wild, man.
You know what, man? We never finished that game, and
Dude,
that is
we were
crazy.
We were gonna do a video, and we filmed for it, and we never made it happen, man. But
No, we like played it together, and I never knew how it ended. That's actually crazy because I totally thought there was still an antagonist that you were going after. I didn't know it's actually yourself, and nothing he was seeing was real.
Nope.
Wow, that makes such a difference in that game. Well,
so it had to make
heavy.
the list, man,
Yeah.
because it's like new. I appreciate good action as much as the next guy, but I also appreciate a good exploration of war, whether it's camaraderie or the horrors of war or guilt or shame or whatever. So that game, I don't think anybody's made a game quite like that since. So
no, I mean, like you said earlier, the gameplay itself isn't anything great. It's all third person and like
yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah, it's whatever. But yeah, that story is that's what separates it apart. So good pick, man. Absolutely. Now I have to go like play the ending because I want to see like how they actually visually showed it. Because yeah, that's crazy. That's a great story. I never realized, or made the effort to fucking see it. That's good though. Good pick. Well, this one is my last one. I saved it for last just because I think it's not only like different in the fact that the way you play it is like there's only one way to do this, but also just the accuracy. If at this point in this podcast you realize that the games I like are the most accurate games to real life. So like Onward, the virtual reality shooter on Oculus 2, is it on PlayStation's VR 2 or?
I mean, it's a VR game.
Oculus?
I imagine it's probably.
It's a VR game.
I don't know that for sure. It's not confirmed, but no, it's definitely on the Oculus.
Yeah, it's definitely on Oculus because that's the system I play it on, and yeah, Izzy bought it to me for Christmas. It was very nice, so that was fair. But that was the first game I downloaded immediately because the first exposure I had to this game was when we were staying with our buddy Greg in Arizona, and he's a big gamer, and he's like, "Hey, you want to play this game Onward?" And I was like, "What is?" He's like, "Virtual reality shooter," and I was like, "What?" So we started playing it in his bedroom, and I was hooked ever since because the mechanic, the part that got me is the fact that like you actually have to look, you actually have to aim with your body, you actually have to manipulate these guns the same as if you would in real life. So all the mechanisms and the functions of the rifles or the pistols are 1-to-1. So, if you rack your slide in the game and then put your magazine in, nothing happens. You have to put your magazine in and rack the slide to, insert a round. And all the weapon systems are different. So it's not like, in any other game on like Xbox or PS5 where it's like press X to reload and it reloads for you no matter what gun you have. In this game, you literally, need to know the gun that you're using. So for an M4, you would like press the button to drop the magazine, and then with your other hand you would have to use the trigger to grab the magazine. On your kit where you would actually have to use your hand to grab your belly and grab it, then you would get your mag and you would have to put it in the magazine, and then you would have to hit the bolt release depending if you shot. But if you didn't shoot and you were just loading a mag fresh, you had to pull the actual charging handle to rack it, and it's like that exact. But if you're using an AK, you actually had to rack, strip the magazine, put a new one in, and rack the charging handle, like on the other side. So it's like, and then when I actually started messing with belt feds in the game.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
I was like, this is terrible. Because like people that don't know how to work belt feds, like you actually have to lift up the feed tray cover. Then you need to strip the links off. You need to take the drum out, throw it to the side, put the new drum in, take the links, put them on the tray, then close the feed tray cover, and then rack the charging handle. And it was like, oh my God, like you need to know what you're doing to actually play this game. And that's just the functionality of it. You still like, the only thing that's a little awkward about the game is the fact that you're not actually moving. So you're like just using the joysticks, you're standing in place. So that kind of takes some getting used to. And it actually made me motion sickness at first. Because like you're 100% engulfed in that headset. So, you can't see nothing around you. So the fact that I was moving in the game but not moving in real life like made me dizzy as shit at first. But yeah, you can actually like take knees in the game and get behind cover and like, push over to the side, like left and right to get around barriers, and you actually move in the game when you're moving in real life. So it's just such a cool game, and they're constantly updating it. And it's just, that's probably my favorite shooter game right now. Because I think it's so realistic and I think it actually offers you training value. So I actually like brought it to the National Guard one time and like had my privates play it to like train in downtime. I was like, hey, play this game to practice. Go.
That's awesome.
So Onward, that one is a fantastic video game that 100% takes my number one pick for game on this particular list. I don't know if I was going to say of all time, but
that's all right. Part 2, 3, and 4 are coming later.
Yeah, sure. Video games are always coming out. But yeah, Onward, that's my number one pick for at least this episode. What about you, dude?
Good pick, man. Good pick. My number one pick, I saved the best for last, or my favorite for last, but honorable mention to Metal Gear Solid. But it's not my pick, but Metal Gear Solid, when it came out in the mid-90s for the PlayStation. But my favorite of that franchise, that series, is Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. And it takes place normally. Solid Snake is the main character, and he goes up against, the old Foxhound unit. But Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater takes place in the 50s during the Cold War, and it's actually Big Boss who eventually is the guy that he fights. Who is his nemesis later on, but maybe not actually because Phantom Pain is all very convoluted. But anyway, that being the case, like it's 1950s, it's Cold War, you fly into basically I think it's like Russia, like USSR territory. And I love it because all the sneaking stuff, the stealth action or the stealth part of the game is on a whole new level because you have all these different camos that you can use, and it has a different percentage, and how close people can get to you before they notice you is dependent upon the higher percentage of you're using the right camouflage in the right area. And all the characters get a little wazoo. They're always a little wazoo, like these antagonists, these bosses that you fight in each of these games. But my favorite one, it's second only to the end, which is the sniper battle that you get to do in the game. But the Sorrow, who's basically like this, he talks to the spirits of the dead, and his boss level, you're in like this kind of dream-like, death-like state. I think you might maybe you die or something. I'm not really sure. But like in the level, you're walking down this river, and all of the enemies that you have killed in the game come back to haunt you. So however many guards you've killed, all the, I forget if the bosses are there, but you have to walk down, you have to dodge them, and you can't move very quickly. So you have to really plan your path out, and they're like walking towards you. They're coming towards you like as wraiths coming back to haunt you. And then like you finally, I think you die in the level, and you have to go into your inventory and get like a revival, hit like a revival tooth that you have like implanted in your body. And I don't think the game progresses if you don't do that. Yeah, but you have to do that. It's one of those little kind of meta things that Hideo Kojima liked to do during the heyday of like the Metal Gear Solid franchises. But and then you come alive, and then you find out that the Sorrow died like years ago. So it's like, well, wait a minute, who did you just battle against in this dreamlike state? So really great. The boss, you fight your own mentor, your mentor boss, who's this jacked lady who knows karate. She betrays you, or seemingly betrays you, and then at the end of the game, there's a timed battle. It's like 4 minutes long because that's how long the timer is for this bomb that's about to go off, and you can't defuse the bomb until you beat your old boss. And there's this, you're like in a field of flowers, and the song, the main theme song, which is awesome, it's like so James Bond, starts to crescendo slowly as the timer starts to count down. So you're fighting against her, and then it gets really more dramatic and more engaging because the song is crescendoing. It's like watching a movie, but you're like participating in it,
Yeah,
you're playing
the movie.
And so, yeah, just really lots of, just such an engrossing experience, and all the kind of, I think the best that Hideo Kojima had to offer within that series was in Metal Gear Solid 3, before he like went off the rails with Metal Gear Solid, what is it, Guns of the Patriots? And it's like, 10 minutes of gameplay and 2 hours of a cutscene, with them just like talking in a room or whatever. But yeah, man, my favorite military game from the good old, I think it's PlayStation 2 days or PlayStation 1. I forget. No, it's got to be PlayStation 2. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. At the end, he salutes Boss's grave. He's got the green beret on with the fifth group. Fifth group's flash on it. Yeah.
Well, cool, dude. Nice. Yeah, that's a good one. I know the only exposure I've had to the Metal Gear series was those reactions we had from Gameology, but that might not have been. Was that number 3?
The creative gameplay. That was no, that was 5. That was a Phantom Pain. Metal Gear V, I guess you could say.
The V. Yeah, but anyways, that game, I always thought the Metal Gear was like the most serious gameplay because Solid Snake or Snake, whatever, looks like a tough motherfucker. And there's like these goofy parts, these like futuristic goofy parts of the game, which I never expected. So yeah, dude, super cool. I still have to play those games. I got a long list of movies and a long list of games to play myself. So
Yep.
Might as well just be honest with myself and be like, yeah, that sounds cool, man. I'm just gonna live through you and say that's sweet and just never play it.
Gonna play it. Life goes on, but trust me, your life is not being wasted, Cameron, and people will find that out very soon. So.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. Well, folks, that concludes the list of our favorite military shooters thus far. There's, as time goes by, more games come out. Who knows? Maybe one will take the cake and take the list next time. But that's all we got for now. And I want to take a quick moment to do our Patreon subscriber shout out. This time we're going to shout out Marky. I'm going to try your last name, brother, because I'll try it anyways. Marky the Quilanius. Dude. It's kind of like out of that. Yeah, Marky de Quilane. De Quilane? There's no S in your name. I'm sorry, Marky.
I know it's probably not.
Yeah, Marky, but thanks, man, for joining our patron family. Excited to have you here. Hopefully we see you at a live stream event or just around on our Discord. Sweet. Moving right along. We have a fan question, yes?
We do have a fan question. The question comes from Errolman, who is somebody from my Twitch community, and he wanted to ask, he asked me very specifically about this, and so I thought I'd include it in the show. But he said, "I have a military question. Would it be possible for a person with disabilities to join the Air Force like in 2029?" And he meant specifically cerebral palsy. And he gave me an article. Yeah, there's an article where it just talks about cerebral palsy, what it is, and like why it should not be stigmatized by the Army because, it's something that you can live with and work through. And there are patriotic Americans that want to serve. There was a dude that, Senior Chief Petty Officer John Quinn, he did his whole career and he actually kept it from everybody. Yeah. He hid it, but he served his whole career and served honorably and retired, and he has cerebral palsy. So,
interesting question, because I read it earlier and I was like, wait, what the hell? And then, obviously in specifics, like as cerebral palsy, let's be honest, you can join the military with anything as long as you keep your mouth shut. And it's not like if it's not super like noticeable, because I was reading that article a little while, I was skimming over it, and it was, cerebral palsy as a disease is not a disqualifier for the military, but a lot of the symptoms that show are. But with cerebral palsy, you could have like, chronic, or you can have very minor symptoms. Yeah. So depending on the ones the ones you show or the ones you work with, I mean, if you keep your mouth shut, of course you can join the military. It's just when they find out, you just get kicked out with honor, and then I get disability from it. So it's choice up to you. But yeah, because like in my mind, I'm thinking like the worst case of cerebral palsy, because that's where your muscles tend to seize up, right? You have difficulty walking and seizures.
Yeah, it can be pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be super bad. And on that end of the spectrum, I'm sorry to say, I don't see it as a possibility, even in the Air Force, where you're sitting down most of the time, because obviously that becomes a liability, and the military doesn't want to take that chance. Sorry to say, but the story of that guy, the Quinn man, who spent 20 years but just kept it under wraps. Like, you could totally get away with that. I knew a guy who had heart murmurs and like literally had a hole in his heart. And he was in Ranger Regiment with me, and it was terrible because as privates, like he would, his team leader would always be like, "You just have a fucking tiny heart, bro. You just have a tiny heart." And one day he like fainted, and he went to the hospital, and turned out he had a hole in his heart, and so he was like, "Yeah, I was right. He does have a tiny heart because there's a hole in it, literally." Yeah, but no, he's pretty sure he served honorably and got out. Didn't get medically discharged, just made it to the end, and he went to Ranger school, got his Ranger tab, like literally with all of it, like a hole in his heart. Nice. So you can get away with a lot, at least in my experience. But if you have full-fledged cerebral palsy, I don't mean to laugh, but like it's probably not gonna happen, bro. Like
that's
it's
the thing.
not.
I wonder, the standard is the thing, right, Cameron? You never want to lower the standard. Now, if there's somebody, say they have some sort of disability, I don't know what they could, missing a hand or maybe some mental maybe not a mental instability, but something in the brain that is a physical ailment to them. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there is a way that they could serve. Maybe there's like a secondary or an auxiliary capacity, maybe a National Guard kind of thing, you think all like the disabled people just are in the National Guard? Well, no. Far be it for me to assume that. Hey, man, I'm in the National Guard, and I'll tell you, they are. Oh, okay. Well, then it's true. But I don't know, man. I guess it's a question of people speaking up. People might be getting some support going, and get some senators in there and see if there isn't a way. As long as you don't lower the standard, because we don't want to diminish the effectiveness of our fighting force. Yeah. You know what I mean? We got to remain lethal and mobile and effective. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you said it's a fighting force, right? Even in peacetime, it needs to be prepared to go forth and fight the nation's battles. But we have mentioned previously on this podcast that joining the military is not the only way of service or to serve your country. There are a hell of a lot of options, out there. It's just you need to pick what's best for you. The military might not be an option for you, but that doesn't mean, the window or the door is closed. You just got to look out and see what you can do. Yep. But yeah, we hope that answers that question. Interesting, thought-provoking question, though, I will say the least. Like, maybe in the future with genetic alterations and whatnot, maybe you can fix that stuff and move on with the military service. But, like I said, until then, join the Peace Corps or something. But it's not over, folks. We still got a game to play. Oh, no. And I'm ready for this game.
You ready for the game, man? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
This is a fun game. This is a fun game called We're Not Playing Games Here. I will say the name of a piece of pop culture, and you tell me if they've made a video game for it. I will tell you specifically which piece of pop culture it will have to be based on. Example, Spider-Man 2002, the movie. Yes, it has a mobile game. It has to be on PC or a console of any age. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's like not just have they made a Spider-Man game, but have they made a game based on the 2002 Spider-Man game. Okay, cool. Or movie.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, yeah. Not including mobile games. It has to be on PC or console. So I give you the name of a specific movie, you just say, yes, it has a game, or no, it has a game.
All right, cool.
You got
Sounds simple enough, yeah.
All right, here we go. Warm up. E.T., the 1981 movie.
Yes. It's been voted the worst game of all time. It's so bad that they took all the copies and they buried them in a landfill somewhere.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. It's funny because Chris wrote, in parentheses, famously bad game.
Yep. Yeah. It was so bad. This was for the Atari back before the Nintendo came out. And yeah, it's kind of this legendary story where the game was so bad that they stopped selling them and they took all the copies that were left that hadn't been sold and buried them in a landfill somewhere in Arizona or whatever.
Oh my God. I would love to see the gameplay for this. Dude. Okay, well, yeah, you got the point, right?
Yep, I got it. Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Starting off, Iron Man from 2008.
Iron Man from 2008. I don't think there's
so what? Is that the first? Is that the first Iron Man?
Iron Man from 2008. That's that came out. Gosh, to 2008. That's right when I was getting ready to get out of that was when I was in. Yeah, when I was in Iraq. So I don't think that there's an Iron Man game. Because a lot of these I feel like the answer would just be yes across the board because most pop culture stuff gets adapted into something. But I'm gonna say no. I know that's kind of weird, but I'm gonna say no. It seems like a trick question.
I think you're overcomplicating it because it does have a game.
It does have a game. Oh my gosh.
It does have a game.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
Does it say what console it's for?
Nope. Oh, okay. Doesn't say
All
anything.
right.
He just says it has a game. So I'll trust Chris. He hasn't let us
I trust
down.
Chris implicitly.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Next one. Avatar: The Last Airbender TV show.
Avatar: The Last Airbender TV show. Gosh, I just want to say yes. I just want to say yes to all of these. I'm going to say yes.
Yes, it has a game.
Okay, good.
It does
Okay.
have a game.
I'm
Okay.
worried.
All right, cool, man. Next one. You probably get this one. Aliens, 1986.
Absolutely.
Movie.
That's it. I played the arcade game for this. Yeah. It's
Did
a
you?
side-scrolling kind of shooter, kind of like Final Fight or, Double Dragon or whatnot, even Metal Slug style. But it's fun,
Okay.
man. It's fun. You can play either as Hicks or Ripley, and you can get all different weapons, and then at certain points you can get inside the power loader, and that's like the ultimate weapon. But yeah, there's all sorts of different crazy aliens, and it's great. It's great, man.
Well, good. Yeah, it has a game. Aliens, the computer game.
Yeah. Well, there's
There
a
you
ton
go.
of aliens games, but I'm thinking particularly of the arcade game.
Okay, well, you're probably right because you are the expert on that. So I will trust you 100%. Okay,
Yeah.
but next one, here we go. The Expendables 2 from 2012, the movie.
The Expendables 2. I didn't even know. I'm going to say no because I'm pretty up to date on the games that have been made. But yeah, I'm gonna say no. I feel like they wouldn't be able to get the likeness rights of all those different actors, so I don't know. I'm gonna say no.
Expendables 2 has a game.
It does?
Allegedly.
Eh?
It's such a specific sequel to number 2, not just like Expendables in general, but Expendables 2 has a game.
Wow.
Are you
Crazy.
Googling this right now?
Video game, huh? This does not look like a fun game. Pretty low scores on Metacritic and IMDb.
Yeah,
Okay.
video game gameplay, yeah, for 2. Wow, look at that.
All right.
Okay, well, shit. All right.
That's
All right,
I'm
moving
surprised.
on. Battleship from 2012, the movie.
Well, yeah, it's a board game.
Well,
yeah.
This is a video game. This is a video game, not a board game.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a movie, Battleship. There's a board game, and then there was a movie that was based on it, and there's got to be a video game. It's got to be a video game. Yes.
Yes, there is
Okay.
a Battleship video game.
Okay.
Yes. And 83% of people like this game. Yep, very cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, who would have thought? Yeah, it's for original Xbox.
Nice.
Okay. All right, moving right along. Beavis and Butthead, the TV show.
Yes, they've had Beavis and Butthead video games. I know this for sure. Super Nintendo, I think. PlayStation?
You are correct. It has a game. Yes.
I just remember seeing the digital Beavis and Buttheads, and just it's burned into my mind. That was a weird
Beavis
show,
and Butthead. Yeah, Genesis, Mega Drive. Yeah, New Media. 94
Oh
for
my
Super
gosh!
NES.
Wow. Yeah, old school.
Yeah, wow, that's old school. But yeah, dude, you got it right. You're doing well. All right, we got 2 more here. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
And the second to last one is Independence Day, 1996, the movie.
That had to have been adapted into a video game. That movie was so popular. Like, I don't remember ever playing the game, but it was so popular, man. I'm gonna say yes. That was definitely a video game.
You are correct, my friend. Independence Day had a game for PS1.
PS1, interesting.
Wow.
I never played it.
Yeah, it is. Nope, yep. 80% of people liked it, apparently. But yeah, you are right. And we are on our last one, my friend. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Okay, here we go. The last one for this game is Escape from New York, the movie from 1981.
Escape from New York. Oh my goodness. No, it can't. It can't have. There can't have been one because I would have played it. I love Escape from New York. There's a Thing video game based on the other John Carpenter movie, The Thing, but there is not an Escape from New York video game.
Final answer?
Correct. I mean, final. Yes.
You are correct, my friend.
Okay.
It is the only game on this list that does not have a video game.
Chris!
All the other. Have you noticed that every single game except for this one has had a game?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, Chris whispered to me. He said, "Hey, when Izzy plays this game, every single one on it has a game except for the very last. So see if he notices.
My instincts were correct.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. I mean, he's like, I don't want him to play the numbers game. Because you know what I do? You know, I was like, well, we've had 2 yeses in a row, so there has to be a no coming. So if I was playing this game, it would have screwed me over. But yeah, Escape from New York did not have a game. Apparently, they were in the making of a game, but it fell through or they just didn't follow through, so it never came out. But they were making one.
Okay, all right. Wow, that's a good one, man. Chris is, once again, is good at delivering the amazing games, you know.
Yes, he is. He is quite the game pioneer. But that's it, folks. That's all we got for this episode of the Pop Culture Field Manual Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our list. And if you did, make sure you send us an email with your list, because me and Izzy would love to read it to see what military video games you guys will rank high on your list. Izzy, you got anything?
No, man. Just really appreciate you guys. Appreciate the support. Join us on Patreon if you want more great content. That's it.
All right, folks. See you on the next one, and cue music.
What's going on, everybody? You just listened to the free version of the PCFM podcast. If you want full-length versions of podcast episodes, plus much, much more, head on over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/PCFM podcast.
That is right, Israel. If you want access to this full episode, you have to subscribe to the Fuzzy Private tier, which is our cheapest tier on Patreon at $5 a month. But if you are interested in a little bit more, we also have the Salty Sergeant tier at $8 a month and the Lifer tier at $12 a month. So hopefully we will see you there, PCFM family. Cue music.
Hello, Saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.